false hero! I'll make this right! These streets must run with the blood of hypocrites! I will reclaim that word! Come on! Just try and stop me, you fakes!
An independent villain who is famous for killing or crippling heroes that he considers fakes, essentially, heroic wannabes. He allies himself with a league of villains not only to make it stronger, but also to strengthen Tamura as a villain as well. His quirk is Blood Curdle. Appearance. Stain is an intimidating, muscular man who walks with a distinct hunch. He has black hair and wears it in a messy fashion that would drape over his face, if not for his headband and mask. Stain's face is mostly flat because he removed his own nose, and his eyes are blood red. His tongue is unusually long and tainted with many small bumps. The hero killer sports a dark combat suit, plated with metal armor across his body to holster his weapons. The torso is sleeveless, and Stain instead wraps his arms in bandages. He also wears long black wristbands and a watch on his left arm. His knees are protected with metal pads and the costume is completed with black, steel boots. Stain always dons his signature blood-red scarf and matching headband, as well as the tattered cloth he wears around his face as a mask. Before being arrested, Stain carried various weapons with him, worn and partially damaged katana, 5 daggers, throwing knives, toe-spiked boots and folding knives. Personality. Stain is a cold, unforgiving man with a sense of duty to cleanse society of false heroes. He believes that those who work as heroes to collect income are unworthy of being called the name, and only All Might is a true hero.
All Might is worthy!
Due to his strong ideology, Stain took it upon himself to become a hero killer. Stain, to stain his own hands with blood to purge fake heroes and change the current society. Stain does not wish to kill those who are not targets for his own cause.
Run away from here. This is not a place for children. Your eyes are searing with vengeance. Be careful what you say next. If need be, even someone your age can be my target.
He dislikes needless bloodshed and came to blows with Tamura because of it. He was reluctant to attack Tenya Ida before the hero in training provoked him. He even told Ida the true traits of a hero in contrast of those who desire to use their quirks in selfish ways.
You're completely blinded by a selfish desire for revenge. You're about as far away from being a hero as I can imagine.
Stain spared Midoriya because he showed characteristics of a true hero. He believes heavily in creeds and convictions, stating that they are needed in order to accomplish anything, and that without them people are weak and will eventually die. In spite of his extremist views and beliefs, Stain does have a genuine ideals about heroism which he stands by firmly. He does not hesitate to save people he deems worthy of being called heroes, does not like killing without reason, and will even give advice to his enemies. He seems to acknowledge that what he is doing is morally wrong, but believes that in order for society to be put on the right path, someone must be what he is, indicating he sees himself as somewhat of a martyr. Stain's conviction gives him an incredibly murderous aura and bloodlust that paralyzed several heroes in fear. It gives him enough confidence to willingly challenge several pro-heroes at once, even after sustaining major injuries. History. All Might's debut as a hero deeply inspired Akaguro. Since then, Akaguro aimed to become a hero like All Might. He entered a private hero course high school to train to become a hero, however, he became hopeless and despaired after seeing the school's fundamental decay, as the students there were becoming heroes for the money and personal gain. Disillusioned by the reality of heroics, Akaguro dropped out during the summer after his first year. After dropping out of high school, the teenage Akaguro preached an ideology which he called the revival of heroics through street oratory and soapbox speeches, but his words went unheard. Over the following decade, Akaguro realized that only action could create his ideal world and change heroics for the better. Akaguro researched and disciplined himself in the training of the killing arts through self-study in order to achieve his duty of revival of heroics. During this decade, Akaguro's parents died. It is unknown what led to their deaths, but it is believed that Akaguro was not involved. After completing his training in the killing arts, Akaguro took up the mantle of hero killer, Stain, and begun advocating the revival of heroics. In this ideology of revival of heroics, Akaguro, now known as Stain, stated the guidelines of being a hero. That heroes must not desire rewards or compensation. People can only have the title of hero when they commit the ultimate acts of self-sacrifice. The ideology stated that the heroes of the modern world are fakes who pretend to be heroes. Stain then began implementing his revival of heroics by killing pro-heroes, deciding that he would not stop his purge of the pro-heroes until the world realized the flaw in the heroic system. Stain's end goal with implementing his ideology revival of heroics was to create a just world filled with true heroes. Abilities. Stain can paralyze and immobilize an opponent by ingesting samples of their blood. The amount of time a victim is paralyzed for varies depending on blood type. Blood type B being the longest amount of time and then decreasing from AB, A, and O being the shortest amount of time. Regardless, the maximum amount of time anyone can be paralyzed for is 8 minutes.
His quirk could be less effective the more people he uses it on. The amount ingested could play into how long it works, or there could even be a difference based on a person's blood type.
Stain also appears to have a high pain threshold, as he barely felt any pain when Midoriya dealt his 5% smash to his head but was completely unfazed.
Guess I was right!
Stain has immense endurance as his lungs were perforated by his broken ribs, and despite losing consciousness due to his injured lungs, still stood standing even though he was unconscious.
One of his broken ribs pierced his lung. He hadn't managed to lick anyone's blood, but still, in that moment...
Stain has shown creativity and mastery over his fighting style, having been able to deal with close and long-range opponents through a mix of misdirection, aggression, prediction and use of the environment he is given in order to get up close to his target, or at the very least draw even the slightest amount of blood to activate his quirk. He also was an incredibly powerful villain, as he was able to battle and heavily injure Ingenium, a popular and powerful pro-hero without much difficulty, leaving him in a critical state. Stain also was able to murder 17 known pro-heroes and cripple 23 others to the point of being unable to make a full recovery. Even Todoroki commented that Stain is incredibly strong. He can emit an overwhelming amount of bloodlust when provoked, enough to even cause Endeavor, a highly regarded hero, to back up.
Come on! Just try and stop me, you fakes!
The list. Number 1. Stain's dark outfit, choice of weapons and violent ideology are most likely derived from the comic book anti-heroes of the 90s, a trend galvanized primarily by creators like Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. His mainly black costume and long, flowing, tattered red scarf are particularly reminiscent of McFarlane character Spawn. Number 2. A guy that can paralyze anyone through the tasting of their blood sounds as villainous as one can get, but the fact is that he was once an aspiring hero student himself, so at one point he was a case of bad powers, good people. Number 3. Stain's design, bandana, samurai equipment and perhaps even his lack of a nose may have possibly been inspired by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, given that they debuted in a comic with a much darker tone than what they are known for today. Number 4. He makes a surprise reappearance in Chapter 94 sharing the same prison as All for One. Number 5. Stain's personality and premise are very similar to the Marvel anti-hero Frank Castle, also known as the Punisher. Both are seasoned warriors, Stain a vigilante, Frank a Vietnam War veteran, who resort to murder to act upon their absolutist ideals of justice, both with a strict moral code conducting their actions that separates them from outright villainy. The Punisher only kills criminals, while Stain only kills corrupt heroes. Number 6. Stain has one of the most intricate and detailed designs out of anybody shown in the series, with little touches such as chains on his boots and a watch on his left wrist. Number 7. His Japanese voice actor is Go Inoue, who voiced Peter Jason Quill on Marvel Disc Wars, Leo on Saint Seiya Legend of Sanctuary, and Madara in Naruto to name a few. Number 8. Midoriya loses heart just staring into Stain's cold and piercing eyes, because unlike the villains who invaded the USJ building who are mostly talk, Stain's eyes are those of a killer. A real killer. Number 9. His English voice actor is Robert McCallum, who voiced Julius Nova Chrono on Black Clover, Son Goten on Dragon Ball GTZ and Kai, and Reiner Brown on Attack on Titan to name a few. Number 10. The conflict between him and Tamura is also a villainous echo of the one between All Might and Endeavor. Like Endeavor, Tamura is essentially a rival who resents Stain's popularity among the villain community, and doesn't get why Stain gets so much respect and adulation.
He's all they're talking about. What about my nomos? Not only have they not forgotten, but we didn't even make the front page.
Number 11. His pattern is that whenever he operates in a particular area, he attacks at least 4 heroes before moving on. Number 12. He has a very specific view of what a true hero is, and anyone who strays from it even in the slightest is targeted by him. This is especially evident by him going after Ida's brother. Even though Stain's rants are about heroes who are only in it for money, fame and prestige, Ida's brother doesn't seem to care about either and is a pretty nice guy, but treats his profession as if he's simply inheriting the family business instead of acting out of any kind of heroic calling, which earns him Stain's wrath. Number 13. He likes Deku because he's one of the few who unambiguously embodies what he feels a true hero is. This was probably a factor in him saving Deku from a flying Nomu that was about to carry him off to who knows where. Number 14. In episode 28, a newspaper is seen with the pictures of 5 heroes killed by Stain. At least one of them was among the background extras in the sports festival arc. Number 15. Stain has different motivations depending on the translator. According to the fan translators, the word hero must be restored. But when Viz translated it, it was if I don't reclaim my hero status. Number 16. His nose was broken by Knuckle Duster, who mocked Stendhal for his lack of resolve. So as a testament of his resolve, Stendhal cut off his nose and discarded the Stendhal alias, becoming Stain instead. To know more about the world of My Hero Academia, please visit the wiki page.